What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel here from the GeekSpeakNation channel, and I'm here to bring you my review of the first episode of Lovecraft Country. One thing I do want to get out of the way. One, I have not read the book that this is based off of, so I will not include book spoilers or anything like that in any of my reviews. I won't look up any of that stuff, and I will more than likely delete anything that has to do with book spoilers in the comment sections below. So please, everyone, no book spoilers. We're just keeping everything in our reviews and discussions pertaining to the episodes that we watch. With that being said, this was an excellent pilot. This was a really good pilot. It is an incredibly powerful pilot in something that if I were a teacher, I would probably teach in a class about like defying genres or something like, or defying genres or blending genres together, because you have the historical aspect of, the decade that we're in and dealing with segregation, Jim Crow laws, the sundown laws and all this sort of stuff in a lot of counties and states, and just how despicable racism is in the historical context, but also how eerie and terrifying those same elements are, equally to the supernatural or the monsters that end up showing up in this pilot. I think that blend is absolutely fantastic, and they did a wonderful job with this pilot. But just starting out of the gate, I do want to also say, it's like, I don't know too much about the works of H.P. Lovecraft. I haven't read one of his books. I, like many other people, did the simple Google search of Lovecraft explained 5 minutes in order to get their background knowledge a while ago. I'd say the closest thing that I do have to gaining an understanding of why people enjoy the works of H.P. Lovecraft is through a little video game called Bloodborne, which is heavily influenced by his works. So that gave me an understanding and appreciation for this supernatural sci-fi horror blend that often goes into a Lovecraftian work, if you will. And I'd say the big thing about those types of works, from what I can tell or what I've gathered from my minimal research, being completely honest, but also me playing Bloodborne, is that the fear of the unknown is always the number one thing that seems to draw in our protagonists, our characters, and us as readers, watchers, viewers, gamers on the journey. Is what is waiting for us at the end of the tunnel, sort of thing. And that being more terrifying than the idea of the actual, creatures, monsters, beings being there before the reveals get there. But with that being said, I don't feel like this first episode was very Lovecraftian, if I was to say it in that regard. It very much so acts like a, no pun intended, a love letter to his works and takes elements from them. We literally see Cthulhu in the opening, right? But it takes those influences very well, and it tries to fit it into something that's a bit more modern, a bit more kind of Stranger Things, Indiana Jones, adventurous, kind of pulp story, rather than strictly Lovecraftian. And the reason I say that the most is because we do get, by the end of the episode, the big reveal of, the monsters. We are straight up seeing the monsters, they're not holding back so far. So that was kind of a big shocker of oh, these guys they're going there with it, right? But regardless, I mean, even though it comes off as this love letter, I think that works to the pilot's benefit, right? Everything from, the main character being named Atticus, after Atticus Freeman, based off of Atticus, I think his last name's Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, but that who his name being based off of, and then Artem and Arkham with the publishing house of H.P. Lovecraft's actual books. I think everything that this show does in this pilot really does come off as this beautiful love letter that's trying to blend elements of everything that we've loved from back then with the modern sensibilities of storytelling that we have now, and blend them all together into one package, which I thought was very, very interesting. And I think that's what makes the pilot so effective in its delivery, right? But another thing that makes it so effective is definitely the cast. The acting is absolutely incredible in this show, with two specific standouts. Journey Smollett, all right, she is absolutely wonderful as a strong female lead. You know, as we know, she is the sister to famous French actor Juicy Smollett. But also Jonathan Myers. Now, this is the first work I've ever seen Jonathan Myers's, but if everything goes well with this series and it keeps the pretty much strong acclaim that it's gotten since the pilot, I could see his career taking off, because not only does he have that kind of charisma of a leading man and all that sort of stuff, but like the way he's able to portray someone who's like taking on all this like stronger physical physique, he conveys so much internal pain and just little facial twitches and like looks and shifts of the eye and all that stuff, and just tightening of the jaw, like all these little facial tics that show that he is like haunted by his brutal childhood, is absolutely fantastic. They don't even have to explicitly say what sort of abuse that he went through as a kid, because his face and the way he delivers his lines when he talks about his childhood is absolutely brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. He does a really good job. So I think that those aspects together worked very well in conveying a lot. And overall, even though the dialogue can be a little bit heavy-handed in trying to explain a lot of things at once, I still do think the writing is really strong in this first episode. And I believe it's all written by the same person for all these episodes, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to check back into that. But the writing is really strong, and blending all of these things together, from, you know, history and all the things that we do know about, you know, segregation, Jim Crow laws, but bringing that together and trying to convey a very gripping adventure tale in a sense, was a very hard balance, I bet, to write. And I don't envy that job of trying to do justice to what our ancestors went through and all that sort of stuff, but without taking away from like somewhat of the pulpy adventure element. It's a hard blend. It's very hard to describe, but it's very easy for this story to veer right into insensitive territory when it comes to dealing with the hardships that colored people faced during those times, you know, people of color. And so I don't know, it was, I don't envy that writing job. All right, that's all I got to say about that. It's a very hard line to walk, but I think it was done very well, and the mystery that is set up is very intriguing. And overall, I just think that pilot was just very well done. I'm not too much of the speculator of like, oh, this is what I think is going to happen and this is going to happen. I'm not much of that type of guy. You have to go watch Hack's Dogma or something like that for that. I'm just not the best at when it comes to theorizing of what's going to happen next. I genuinely do love to just go on the journey of whatever each episode ends up bringing us. But when you break it down, one thing that I did find out, which was very interesting, is that being based off of the book, some of these episodes or some sequences inside of the episodes are gonna feel kind of like how American Horror Story is. I think that's the name of the show, where it's an anthology. So certain elements or certain episodes entirely are going to seemingly have nothing to do or are very loosely connected to the main plot that we're introduced to in the pilot. And I didn't know that going into it, and I don't think it was very well advertised for the show. So this is going to be very interesting to see how they handle those sort of elements of kind of feeling, you know, like, oh, other things are going on in the world now that are feeding into this sense of like the supernatural is coming more and more to life. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do that balance, because when I heard that was really a big part of what this show was going to be, because it was a big part of the book, started to get a little concerned. And I have only one reason, all right, I only have one reason that I am concerned about this show, and it's the fact that it's produced by J.J. Abrams. All right, I don't know how much creative control he had over this project, but J.J. Abrams, for me, has not made a film or a TV show in quite a long time that has slapped. All right. Personally, I think he's been putting out some duds. And I think the one thing that concerns me is the good old J.J. Abrams mystery box. That is always his, idea of storytelling, where you take a concept, an idea, and the mystery, you make it very, very intriguing, and you spend your whole entire time unraveling this box, and then at the end, you get your reveal surprise of what it's all been about the whole entire time. The problem with the mystery box format of storytelling that J.J. Abrams really spearheaded is that oftentimes the mystery that is presented initially is never as good as you continue to watch it. And then by the time you get to the ending, it feels like they didn't even know what was inside of their mystery box to begin with. And then it just feels like your whole entire journey was for nothing. I.e. Rise of Skywalker, right? So I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. Because I truly feel like only like Damon Lindelof as a showrunner has truly like perfected the art of the mystery box, having gone from, lost and kind of losing his way a little bit there, but for some people saying he redeemed it at the end. However, when it comes to The Leftovers, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and Watchmen, which is absolutely brilliant, I think he ends up mastering that sort of technique of having a mystery at the heart of the story that is worth it and connects to everything that is the entire journey. So that's my only concern, is that this show is produced by J.J. Abrams. I know it's produced by Jordan Peele and all that stuff, but it's like literally me hearing J.J. Abrams' name attached to something. I'm like, I bet that pilot good though, but what's the rest of it going to end up looking like, and how much influence is he going to have over it? I don't know. We're going to see. I'm going to keep an open mind. But if we end up getting to like episode 3 or 4 and we're all just like, bro, what happened to this show, man? This isn't what we signed up for. I'd be like, I knew it. It was JJ the whole time. But overall, despite that trepidation that I have knowing that JJ Abrams is involved, I truly, truly believe that this pilot is absolutely fantastic. It's a great piece of storytelling. It's very well paced. It gets you right into it, into the characters, into the plot, into the mystery without losing a step. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a bold choice to immediately go with, showing the monsters at the end of the episode, but it was brutal, it was violent, it was effective, and it was incredibly, incredibly engaging. I really don't have too many complaints about the pilot. There was just like one gratuitous sex act that I didn't understand why it was in the episode. I was like, oh boy, that's a foreboding sign for things to come, because HBO, it's like they have a quota where like, yeah, we got to show some just randomly gratuitous sex scene. Like, I guess that'd be cool if I was like 13. I'm like, oh geez, sex, but I'm just like, hey, come on, let's get to the story. Come on, I got things to do. Come on. But with that being said, I think this is a really, really, really well done pilot, and I'm excited to see how the things end up going with the second episode and the rest of the episodes. We got 10 to go. I'm really hoping that I don't get burned on this show like I got burned on The Outsider, based off of the Stephen King novel, because that show started off wonderful. Pilot was amazing. First 3 episodes, bangers. Rest of the season, doo-doo. Absolute booty flakes. So I'm holding out hope though, HBO. I'm holding out hope. But yeah, I'm excited. And this is also just like genuinely like, this is just as a screenwriter, as a filmmaker, photographer, all this sort of stuff. It really is inspiring to see so many Black creators just getting a shot. It really is inspiring to me to see this happen. So just for that alone, I really did feel inspired by this pilot. I was like, yeah, keep at it. Things changing around here. It's nice. But with that being said, guys, let me know what you thought about the pilot in the comment sections down below. Whether you're a fan of the book, without saying spoilers, whether you're a fan of H.P. Lovecraft's work previously, or you're just like me and you're watching this episode for the first time. You're like, okay, we're in something. We're locked into something. Let's see where it goes. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this pilot. And also, while you're down there, guys, if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to become a part of the GeekSpeakNation channel. channel to continuously get content like this. Make sure you hit that little bell icon, right? Just hit that little bell right after you hit that subscribe button, and set it to all so you always get notified of when I post a new YouTube video. That was about to be a very awkward sentence if those words ended up jumbling in a certain way. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for all the support in all these recent videos. It's been just absolutely incredible, and we're really close to 2,000 subscribers, so I really do appreciate it. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Daniel, and don't forget to get geeky.